MASN's coverage of the 2023 winter meetings are brought to you in part by your Baltimore area Toyota dealers. For legendary safety and reliability, choose Toyota, and let's go places. Well, day one of Major League Baseball's winter meetings rolls on. We are joined by Orioles manager Brandon Hyde. Brandon, after 101 wins, AL Manager of the Year, probably a pretty popular guy here at winter meetings this year.
Well, no, it's a lot of fun seeing your baseball counterparts and a lot of friends in the industry. So it's kind of the one time of the year that we all get together, and it's been a lot of fun seeing a lot of people.
Now that you are the BBWAA Manager of the Year, endorsement deals rolling in, like how's your life changed? And what would you like to endorse?
I got a bunch of things I would love to endorse, but when I go home, nobody's calling me the BBWAA Manager of the Year. I am dad, and I'm taking people to practice and taking them to school. So, no, it's a great honor. I mean, the people that Boach and and Kevin Cash being in the category there with me, it was just an incredible honor just to be named with those guys.
So Brandon, here at winter meetings, obviously you're not the one making the trades, signing the free agents, but what do those conversations look like for you in terms of guys that could be potential fits, guys that you would possibly be managing?
Yeah, Mike, we talk a lot about our roster. Almost every day we talk about our roster, and then he talks to me about potential fits and people that they're talking to, and asks if I have any input or if I know them or whatever it may be. But he definitely involves me in the conversation. I appreciate that very much. And then usually I'll be a part of the recruitment process or part of talking to the player to kind of sell them on why we think that they'd be a great fit for us.
I know you can't force these things, and the offseason doesn't end after the winter meetings, but do you sense at all there might be a little more of a sense of urgency to get things done because everybody wants pitching, not just you guys, and it can start flying off the board? Yeah,
I think that I'm sure everybody's waiting for a couple of the big-time dominoes kind of to fall, and then after that, then it seems like it does go pretty fast. So there's 30 teams out there that are always looking for pitching and pitching depth and starters and big-time relievers and under-the-radar guys. And so, I think that so far we've been involved in a lot of conversations. I know Mike and his team have put a lot of work and time into potential fits, and hopefully we can get something done.
So you mentioned kind of the recruiting process and having conversations with guys that could potentially be joining the Orioles. How nice is it over the last few years that conversation was, hey, we're really building something here, you want to come be a part of it, to right now going, we built it, it's here?
Yeah, the conversation has definitely changed in a great way, and that a couple years ago we were just selling opportunity and innings on the mound and playing time. Right. And now it's more of being a part of a winning team and being a part of a championship club. And when we talk to some of these free agents, their tone is different with us too, in that they've heard how great of a place it is to play in Baltimore. Our clubhouse culture already. It's really positive. A couple years ago, it wasn't as positive, but it's definitely a positive thing right now, and it's been exciting talking to some of these guys.
Is it too early to talk to us or even players about specific roles? For example, let's say Tyler Wells, DL Hall, right, telling them, hey, you guys are coming to camp in this role or that role. And is it important to do that ahead of spring training, because that could affect what business Mike does otherwise?
Well, I think we kind of have to wait to see a little bit on what moves Mike makes and what the offseason looks like for what he does this offseason. And then with Tyler and DL, I mean, right now I couldn't give you an answer on what their role is going to be next year. Tyler Wells was arguably our best starter the first half of the year last year, and then just ran out of gas, but he was a huge help for us the last couple of weeks and in the postseason out of the bullpen. So we know that he can do a variety of things. DL was impact. He was an impact reliever for us, especially the last month of the season. So those conversations we're having right now on kind of where we see our roster and how we see these guys kind of fit, but we're super high on both of them, obviously, and I think they're going to they will impact our team in a big way next year.
Now, speaking of the starting rotation, years past you've brought in Jordan Lyles, Kyle Gibson, veteran guys who you knew were going to come in, they were going to eat innings for you. What kind of archetype of pitcher do you think makes sense to best complement the staff this year?
Well, if you look at our rotation, I mean, we still have a lot of inexperience, and it's not a veteran type of rotation. It's still guys kind of in their mid-20s now. Some of these guys are getting now Dean Kramer's 3-4 years of experience. Wellesley's a few years of experience. Like some of these guys have gotten a little bit of experience, but we don't have that veteran presence. And that's what Jordan and Kyle gave us, was two guys that wanted to take the ball every 5 days, that had pitched deep in the season before, knew what a major league grind was like, knew how to kind of get ready in between starts. And both those guys arguably had their best years, career-wise, pitching for us. And I feel great about that. I feel great about them. They both got rewarded with great contracts after the years they had with us. So I'm really happy, one, with what they provided us and provided me, but also them moving on, seeing them both going into places where they're making a lot of money and they're very successful.
There's a lot of talk about this team needs a number one starter to put you guys over the top. Then you look at what Kyle Bradish did.
Right.
Can he be the number one? And how happy were you to see the recognition he got finishing fourth in Cy Young voting?
That was awesome to see, and I was hoping that would happen. I would hope he finished in the top 5 because he deserved it. Well, I think we have a couple guys that have top of the rotation type of stuff, and Kyle and Grayson for me has top of the rotation stuff. Now, is he going to be top of the rotation starter in his his first full year? Probably not. But he showed flashes last year of a guy that can go dominate a lineup like a number one starter can. Kyle did that quite a bit last year, and so whether we go in and try to go get a number one guy, I'm not sure. But I feel really good about these two young guys that have made such huge strides. Grayson made huge strides over the course of last season, and Kyle from 22 to 23, just massive improvements. And I want hope they continue to get better.
Now looking at the bullpen, obviously no Felix Bautista leaves a big gap for the 2024 season. You have some guys in-house already that have a little bit of experience closing games, but when you're talking about somebody that you might bring in, are you kind of hoping for somebody with a little bit of closing experience? How do you feel about the guys that could be in that role for this year?
Well, it's definitely something we're talking about, and there's other teams that need it also, so it's not like we're just hand-picking somebody. There's a recruitment process, and then there's 20 other teams, and everybody's looking for back-end bullpen help. I was really proud of our guys the last month of the season, without Felix, kind of how we picked up the pieces around Felix getting hurt. And the roles changed with a lot of these guys, but they mixed and matched extremely well. I love that we have 3 lefties in our bullpen that kind of do 3 different things and have totally different kind of stuff. With a righty like Cano that's a sinker ball, it's a really, really tough right on right. So to be able to kind of mix and match what we did in September, these guys pitched well. So whether we go in with that sort of formula or bring in a ninth inning only guy, we'll wait and see.
As long as we're talking about the bullpen, and I keep writing about Dylan Tate, are you anticipating a healthy Dylan Tate in spring training?
I'm hoping for it because Dylan Tate was impact for us in 2022. And one of the best right-hand setup guys in the game, honestly, for what he can do. Getting ground balls, weak contact, not much. The slug against him is super low because it's a heavy sinker. So that was a big loss for us last year. And D just never could quite get back to feeling as healthy as he could the year before. Hopefully, with this time off, we expect him to come into camp healthy next year, and hopefully he can impact our club next year.
A lot of storylines heading into spring training. One of the bigger ones is just how many guys are at the TripleA level right now that seem right there to get to the big leagues. How excited are you to see how that competition plays out?
I don't know if I've ever seen a group of AAA hitters that put the numbers up that these guys have done. I mean, just across the board and all prospects. Most of the guys that Mike drafted, Mike and Sig, these guys identified out of the draft to how they perform. I mean, usually a guy has a down year or it's a kind of a project. These guys went into AAA and absolutely mashed the baseball. So that's bodes well for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully that translates to the major league level. You never really know. It's a totally different level, and it's a lot tougher in the big leagues. But Gunnar adapted well. Obviously, Roch is adapted well, and hopefully, a couple of these guys can do the same thing.
Can you get through an interview without being asked about Jackson Holliday? It happened again on MLB Network this morning.
It's okay. I don't mind talking about him.
I mean, is there a chance that he makes the club?
I think we're going to give him every chance to make the club. As of right now, I think that there's, it's a special talent. It's a special kid. He's grown up in a major league clubhouse. The environment's not going to, it's not going to spook him. And I think Mike said it before. I don't think we've ever seen anybody at 19 kind of do what he did in the minor leagues and finish the year at 19 in TripleA, leading off for a TripleA championship club, playing in a premier position. I think the sky's the limit. So I think we'll go into camp with him and give him opportunity, and then we'll make a decision from there. But he'll be in the big leagues at some point, soon.
Well, a lot of excitement around the Orioles here at winter meetings, and AL Manager of the Year, Brandon Hyde. Brandon, thank you so much for the time.
All right, thank you for having me, guys.